Peace, love, and light. Welcome to another episode of The Daily Guide, The Daily Vibe, hosted by yours truly, Pretty Boss. I'm recording this on Wednesday, January 10th at 9:03 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is spiritual guidance, prophetic guidance, intuitive guidance, wisdom, knowledge, and gems for those of y'all who are in alignment with Source, with God, with yourself, with your purpose. I have a feeling today there's going to be some pretty specific messages. Some of you may want to take notes. This is a time that you're going to be connecting with your empire. And what I mean by empire, I mean your four corners of the earth. What I mean is you're creating a true world, a true habitation for yourself. This is a time that you're going to seek and find everything that you've been looking for. And these things are going to come to you in magnificent ways. This is for someone who has been through many battles and back. I mean, you've fought in many wars. You fought many battles in your time. And you don't look like what you've been through at all. The funny thing about this is you're coming into a space where you're going to be able to be honest with yourself in a way that you just not been able to be honest with yourself at this point. I mean, let's face it. It takes time to be able to pull off those layers, especially when you had to heal from so much. When your entire life, when you can think of each stage of your life, each life cycle that you've been through, and there's been significant lessons, there's been significant challenges, there's been traumas and dramas. It takes time to peel back those layers. You don't get damaged in 2 weeks. Damage happens over a lifetime. And so as you heal, as you start to remember who you are and who you've always been, and remind yourself of who you're becoming, this is a process. And after where you are today, that you peel back so many layers, you're now finally getting into a space where you can truly answer the question, what do you want? You're starting to become clear about the things that don't satisfy you. You're starting to become clear about the things that are just not you. You're starting to become clear about the direction that you're actually willing to take. And as you do this, many of you have found comfort in yourself. Many of you have found comfort in solitude. Some of you are going to be getting into doing things or reading or learning or studying specific things that really capture and motivate your interest. These are going to be things that speaks directly to your mind, directly to your soul, directly to your spirit, that is going to truly lead you in the direction of everything that you've been seeking. There's something that's very peaceful about you during this time. It's almost as if you're going to find yourself truly able to tune the world out. Not just what you've been through in your personal world, in your personal life, but you're going to find yourself truly tuning out the world. You're going to find yourself creating an island in the midst of Babylon. You're going to find yourself creating an island in the midst of the hellish dimension and matrix that we've been living in for so long. You're going to find a way to create your own piece of heaven on earth, and everybody's not going to be invited to this party. let's go ahead and get into this message. So, this is the thing. There's an aspect of you that is taken over and is overshadowed who you truly are. Some of you were born truly lighthearted. If you could see old videos of yourself, if you could see old pictures of yourself, and some of you maybe don't even have access to these things, or you just haven't come across them as of yet. But if you could see some of these things, and see how you really were in your natural form, see how you were in your earlier years before you went through certain circumstances and certain things, you'd realize that a lot of the energy that you've been carrying, a lot of that burden, it's almost like a cloud of smoke that has been over you. You'll realize that that has nothing to do with you. That's a shadow of who you actually are. That's something else, la sombra. It's like something that has just been following you over your life, almost like a dark cloud. You know, on a beautiful day, the sun is out, the sky is clear. That's you, right? But because of the things that has happened in life, there's been so many clouds, so many different energies, so many different things, so many different mindsets, thoughts, ideas, and beliefs that have been able to permeate your sky. So there's so many clouds that has been filling up your arena, and this has blocked out who you truly are, which you're a person that is an unconditional lover. You're someone who really likes to laugh. You're somebody who's excited. You're somebody who, it's funny, you might not even find yourself at a space in life where you like to really dance too much, or even laugh, or even singing, things of that nature. But that's you. Like that's your energy. You were always a fun, happy person. And something about this demonic world that you've been living in has tried to suffocate that. So the thing here is you're connecting with yourself again. And you're doing it unconditionally. Like, some of you, this is so powerful because the reason that you're going to be able to step into this new space and create something that hasn't been seen in this following time that we live in. I mean, we do live in a realm of followers. I have no idea what's been going on the earth. If you've ever read Behold the Pale Horse, the original version, because they do have a shortened version circulating on Amazon that's taken out a chapter or so, and who knows what else they dibbled and dabbled. But if you have that original 1991 version of Behold a Pale Horse, it's very interesting because if you read that, I remember I read that, my mother brought us that book back when I was probably about 14, 13, 14, probably even 12. Anywhere between the ages of 12 and 14 was the first time that that book was introduced to my life. And I remember as we read that book, me, my brother, and my uncle, who my mother raised as her son, so it's almost like I had two brothers. When we read that book and as we dove into it, my mother used to always say, y'all are not going to fall into the cracks. I refuse to have y'all fall into the cracks. Y'all not going to fall into the cracks. And that book literally laid out the program that I sit here and I literally see at play today. I was just having a conversation with one of my friends the other day, and I was like, how do you reverse this? How do you stop this machine that's been full throttle? Like, things are expanding in a way that it's counterintuitive. It's not really necessarily the most productive, right? It seems like we have a lot of productivity, but when you really look at what's been expanding, it's been a lot of trash. It's been a lot of entertainment that serves nothing or no one, right? Entertainment is good, but again, we need things in moderation. What the world doesn't even realize is we've been living in a realm of crackheads, okay? People think just because they're not taking the pipe, just because they don't have that 8 ball, they don't realize the addictions in which society has been dealing with. That cell phone is in your hands, that tablet, that laptop, dopamine hits galore. I believe that people are dealing with dopamine hits in ways that traditional drugs don't even do it. So there's been so many cracks that has been open. There's been so many programs that has been laid that when you really start to look and see, how can this be a sewage? How can this be fixed? Right? What is the solution? How do we go in a different direction from here without degenerating the rest of society that's coming now and after. I realized that the cracks have already been opened, the traps have already been set, and there are so many programs that are just already at play. And it made me think of Behold a Pale Horse, because I'm like, this man wrote about this over 2 decades ago. And lo and behold, this is the day and age that the full fruition of that is at hand. There's been a program. And even before that program of whatever government, whatever group of people, even before that program, there was already a program. Right? We know we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against a spiritual wickedness in heavenly places. So when we understand this, we can detach from the drones. We can detach from the robots. We can detach from those who've been programmed. It's at a point to where, how can you be mad at people who are living out these programs when they're just a bot? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. So it's almost as if you live in a world, and people are so concerned about AI, but let's just call robots, because I'm like, people are concerned about artificial intelligence, which currently has a lot of beneficial uses, especially for entrepreneurs. Can really cut down on your workload. It can really allow you, especially if you're a person who you like to work alone and you don't prefer to work with the drones and the bots, it will allow you to be able to do a lot of things to where it's like you can really be that person who's able to do 5 people's jobs because you're able to implement AI. With that being said, people are focused on the wrong things. We live in a world of AI. Most people that you see are AI. They're programmed. If you're not able to think for yourself, if you're not able to be for yourself, then who are you? You're nothing more than a bot. So then you start to realize that we do live in this world of zombies. The Walking Dead is very real. It's not just a TV show. We do live in a world of bots. Many are called, but very few are chosen. We can see this clearly. Scripture ain't never lie about that. So then what do? Do you get mad at robots? That's like trying to argue with, you ever call those customer service numbers, like, I'm trying to think of some who just have horrible customer service. You can't even get people on the phone. Y'all know those companies that you'll call. I think Comcast is probably one of them. Xfinity is like the worst, right? It takes forever to get an actual human being on the phone with Xfinity. So you ever call for customer service, which is most of these companies these days, these mediocre companies these days, and you'll get a bot on the phone. And you ever get aggravated, like you're yelling at the bot, it's asking you stupid questions, and you just start, spazzing? Has anybody else ever done that, or is that just pretty well? I've gotten better with it over the years. I don't really do that anymore, but it's just something in me that just wish I could just wring the bot by the neck. It just be a part of me that I just wish I could just let the bot have it. But then when you realize and you sit back, you're like, yo, this is counterintuitive. Like, this bot is never going to feel anything. It's not ever going to feel my anger. It's not ever going to feel my frustration. It's not going to feel any of that. It's a bot. And so then you just treat the bot as such. Sometimes I just hang up, I'll call back, push the numbers a different time, figure out a different sequence of things to tell them, customer service, customer service. Just no emotions involved. Just do what I got to do and just realize the bot is the bot. Well, I said all of that to say, welcome to 2024. We in here. Those of you who are chosen, those of you who are light workers and are light beings, you're liberating yourself completely from the realm of bots. Many of you are going to find yourself not even really engaging in a lot of the things that people do. You're going to find yourself finding new avenues. It's like I said, you're going to be creating an island for yourself. Okay? And on this island, you will start to resonate with others who've created islands for themselves as well, and you will visit each other on your islands. The thing is, you're going to find new sources of information, new sources of content, things that actually resonate with you. Because the funniest thing about it is, even the bots are bored. There's an aspect to where society is so oversaturated with foolishness that so many people, especially now more than ever, lack certain types of passion, lack certain type of motivation, lack certain type of inspiration, because even when we speak about the internet, and especially social media in particular, especially the fact that everybody can have it in the palm of their hand, the internet has always been here, but it changed once you took the internet off of the laptop, once you took the internet off of the computer and put it in the palm of everybody's hands, to where you don't even need to have a car, be able to afford a house, but everybody has a cell phone, right? Everybody has access to the internet, and then you can create whatever reality that you want on the internet. It's this movie called Out of Time. I don't know if y'all have ever seen it. It's with Justin Timberlake. Really good movie. I feel it's been so underrated because I never heard of anybody talk about that movie. But check it out, okay? If I give movie plugs, best believe it's 100. But it's a movie called Out of Time. And in this movie, things got a lot different. And it got to a point in time where people were literally living in these virtual realities, and projecting themselves into the world. And I believe that's that movie. Even if that's not that movie, the movie's really good, but I believe that is a part of that movie as well, if I'm not mistaken. And these are the things that has happened. We already live in a world of AI. We already live in a world of superficial. We already live in a world of, it almost seems like everything has been done. So people are burnt out. People who haven't even had personal experiences for themselves have lived so vicariously, whether it's known or unbeknownst to them, through other people who have been living lives who are, a lot of them are based on illusion, that some of these things that people haven't even been able to experience from themselves, it's almost like there's a distaste or there's no desire for it. Mm. The thing with this is, there are going to be some improvements. There are going to be some things, for lack of a better word, that you come across that allows you to connect to a different time space reality. When I say time space reality, you're going to be very present on Earth. It's not that you're going to be ungrounded. It's not that you're going to be just in your crown and beyond. Even though those of you who I'm talking to, you're always up there. You're always connected. You're always receiving those direct downloads. Your eye of the body is filled with light and it's wide open. Even though that is the case, this is not going to be something that makes you and takes you away from this space. It's going to be like you're able to bring something above down. And the thing about this is, you're going to be able to reap the first fruits of this. This is going to be something that's for you for quite some time. You're going to be able to revel in this. You're going to be able to enjoy this. It's almost like, think about, you know, the time when there was less people in the world and there was still so much land to be discovered, you know? And I'm not talking about by Christopher Columbus and them, who didn't discover anything, but I'm talking about by the indigenous people who really were discovering new lands, right? So when you think about this, and just put yourself in a space and time where there was still new land to be discovered. Maybe you use certain resources over here, and then you travel, and then you find a new space, and it's like, oh my God, the land is fertile. The land is fresh. Even when I was talking about The Last Kingdom just like a few weeks ago or the other month, when you look at that, the Vikings in that movie were taking over territory in the beginning of that series. And when they came, they're like, oh, the water's fresh, the land is fertile and things of that nature, because wherever they were coming from, those resources were all already depleted. So imagine coming from a place where it seems like everything is depleted, which a lot of the world feels like that these days, but people just don't have the words to put to it, and a lot of people are internalizing this and thinking it's something that's wrong with them, when it's not you. It is the world, okay? It is the current state of society, even if we just look at things on a global level, as far as like the earth, as far as the environment, the natural environment, there's a lot of things that has been sullied. If we look at the animals, if we look at the weather, we can see there's been a lot of things that have changed. And the earth is not the problem, right? The natural checks and balances aren't the problem, because things will be checked and balanced every time. But it's more so of the inhabitants, these people who call themselves humans on earth. It's more so of that which has been done to the earth that has been causing a lot of these imbalances. So, with that being said, you are going to find an oasis. You're about to discover a new land and territory, but more so than discovering it, it's like you're discovering it from another place and you're bringing it down. While Elon Musk and them are trying to go outer space and do all of these other things, you're going to be inhabiting new lands right here. See, the funny thing, and this always makes me think of the scripture, especially as of lately, the scripture's been coming up. It's called "The meek shall inherit the earth," because sometimes people can get a little bit too big for themselves. And I'm not calling out any particular people here, even though I just mentioned Elon Musk has nothing to do with this guy. It's many people who are prototypes of this same type of energy. Again, this is a program. Again, this is a drone-based, AI-based society minus the AI. We're not talking Chat GPT. We're talking programmed people. We're talking zombies here. So the thing is, you're finding and discovering a new oasis, and it's almost like under the nose of the Matrix, because people can get too big for their britches. It's even like that king that gets so big and so full of himself and so disconnected from society that they don't realize they have people in their kingdom that are planning and have been plotting to overthrow them and is ready to do it. It's that type of energy. You know, when people just get disconnected. It's funny because I even watched the Dave Chappelle Dreamers episode last night. I was like, you know what? I wasn't gonna watch it, but it was the new year, and I was like, you know, I just saw Cat Williams go off on Shannon Sharp. I love that for 2024. Very dope way to pull in the year. That's how you pull up to 2024. And then I went on Netflix, which I haven't been on there as much lately, but I went on there the other day and I saw Dave Chappelle. So I'm like, okay, we got Cat. And now we got Dave, and Dave Chappelle had always been like one of my favorite comedians. And if we're talking about the majority content of his work, he's definitely still like one my personal top comedian of all time. But you know, to be honest here, when I watched that episode, The Dreamers, I just didn't really, it wasn't that funny. Maybe I laughed about 4 times, okay? And it was just I don't know. It seemed that's not, you know, David, he was always a person who was relatable. It's like you could tell that he was in touch with the times, and in touch with certain things that, you know, as a collective, and especially a certain collective of people, really resonated with. And that just seemed like the most disconnected performance of Dave Chappelle I'd ever seen. Like I said, I wouldn't watch it again. I wouldn't even recommend it to anybody to watch. If you found it funny, shouts out to you. But like I said, there was a few laughs there, but it's like out of all of the performances I've ever seen of Dave Chappelle, that was one that I was like, wow, you know, who knows what's going on? You know, people, you know, it is what it is. And that's no diss to Dave Chappelle, because like I said, even with that being said, I can look at his larger body of work and still say, like, he's, to me, one of the best comedians that we've seen in my personal generation. But I said that to say, there comes these times where people can really get disconnected. And there are certain parts of society that has gotten so disconnected and so far removed from the heart of humanity that it's going to have repercussions, and it's going to allow a new faction of people to really rise. Okay. And when we're talking about this, of course, I'm definitely referring to my chosen ones here. I'm referring to my light workers. I'm referring to my star seeds. The thing is, everything that is happening right now, all this oversaturation, the current state of affairs, the internet, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of these things, whatever it is, everything that is being witnessed right now and everything that's going on right now and everything that seems like it's just exponentially expanding. The thing about this is it's dying. Okay? It's dying. Things can only reach a certain point before they burst. This is making me think about the stock market. This is making me think about the housing market. This is just making me think of finances in general, especially when we talk about these different systems, right? Like I said, stock market, or if you talk about the housing market, there are times, and there's been multiple times in society, and it will continue to be cycles like that, where you would just see the stock market just it's just increasing, and you usually know when the stock market or the housing market is at a bubble, because that's usually the time when most people are buying. That's usually the time where people that don't even have it to buy, or usually wouldn't even invest or buy, that's usually when they're buying. This is when everybody's so positive and optimistic about these investments because it's been doing well for so long, and it's just been getting larger and larger. The market cap's getting larger and larger and larger and larger. And it gets larger and larger and larger until a point where it bursts. And this is what we call bubbles. And then this is when you see recessions happen. This is when you see the stock market crash or fall. This is when you see the housing markets crash or fall, right? This is when you start to see those different types of depressions happen, or mini depressions. So the thing is, everything that we're witnessing right now, to this point in our current society, we're witnessing a bubble. And so it may seem like these things are just going to get larger and larger and increase and increase and increase, but the bubble is getting ready to burst. So the thing for you to do as a seer, as a light worker, as a chosen one, is one who has been set apart from the drones. Your only focus right now should be towards the future and what is being created. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? Now, of course, we live in the framework of this current society, of this current matrix. So there are certain things that needs to be done so that we can take care of bills, so that we can put food on the table, so that we can take care of ourselves and our loved ones, and be able to be those blessings to the people that we need to be a blessing to. However, the focus should be on the future, because everything that is getting larger and larger and larger and larger right now is getting ready to implode on itself. You can think of the current state of society as a stock market bubble getting ready to burst. Okay, straight up. And the thing about this is, some of you who are not impressed, because some of you just don't have a desire. It's like, even with YouTube, I remember when I started doing YouTube many, many years ago, family. So many years ago, I can't even quantify it. But I'll give you an example of when. Okay, I'll paint the picture. When I first got on YouTube, this is back in the day where some of you were too young. Shouts out to Gen Z. But when YouTube first started, it started off as a social media. So the cool thing about YouTube, especially this is when I was in high school, probably even, was I in high school? Yeah, I was in high school. Um, and it was so dope because YouTube was a place where you could find all the music videos. So music videos that we hadn't been able to see since the 90s. I remember even, like, Gin and Juice, and just certain videos where you could look any video you ever saw that you hadn't seen in years, because the internet wasn't the way that it is now. Now you can search anything. But back then, if it wasn't the time and space, you just was never going to see that video again. Well, YouTube came out and we were able to search up, because music videos used to be a thing back in the day. So, like, we would search up different music videos, and it was so dope because any music video you could ever think of, you'll find it on YouTube. So then YouTube moved out of that era because, different regulations and things of that nature, even though now I'm sure you can find all of these videos again, because now the companies have been able to get their money from having these videos on the platform, right? But before they were getting their money, YouTube was just putting all the videos on there, and then it became a problem because the record labels are like, yada, 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 we're not getting our cut, even though we're raping all the artists, you're not paying us. And then they got their hands in the pot, so now you got Vivo and all these things. Fast forward, when I started to create on YouTube, there was no monetization. There was no ads. There was no sign up and get money. And people who were creating content on YouTube was doing it because the people who were on there just like to create video content. You had Facebook, which was its own thing. Then you had MySpace, probably still at the time, possibly. And then you had YouTube, which was like a video-based social media platform. So then there's many dispensations, and any of my other YouTube OGs who's been on the platform before trying to make a living and getting YouTube rich or becoming a YouTube celebrity, before YouTube was a clout thing, before YouTube was about getting a plaque. I have one of those, by the way. Y'all never see it in the background, no, do you? But anyways, before YouTube became about any of those things, it was more so about, just creating content. It was a fun place to be. And now you fast forward to society, even in the different dispensations. I remember when they first started to allow monetization, I didn't even monetize my content because I was like, no, I'm not going to monetize my content. Like, we're trying to get away from mainstream media. We're trying not to give no light to these fools and these advertisers. And for a long time on my platform, even after YouTube had became a place of monetization, I didn't used to monetize videos. Then it got to the point where 80% of YouTubers, everything's monetized. So it's like, you know what? I might as well, because all of these people who's watching my channel, it's even more people watching these other channels that got these videos hella monetized. So whatever. Let me go ahead and add some ads, since that's what we're doing with it anyway. And so then we get to this point, and now we're to the point to where we already see how the algorithm is happening in response to consumerism. YouTube, Facebook, all of these places are no longer a place for you to just be entertained and connect with other people and share information. These are consumerism farms. These are places that are creating platforms and algorithms to where you will buy, 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 buy. The algorithm isn't based on what you want to see or what you want to learn. It's based on what they think that you want to see, based on what type of advertisements overlay those type of content and those types of videos. So now we're in a space to where everybody wants to be a YouTuber. When I was doing YouTube back in the day, people were looking down on me. My family, they're like, how do you go from being this intelligent, smart person who has the world is yours? You can go to med school, you can become a teacher, you can do this. There's so many things that you can do. Why are you choosing YouTube? To now everybody and their mama, you ask them what they want to do, they want to be a YouTuber. And I was telling people that YouTube was going to be the new thing 10 years ago. However, we are now at the spot, even with YouTube, even with social media, and a lot of these things that we're seeing, we're at a bubble. It's getting ready to pop. So the thing is, and this is not to discourage anybody from doing anything that they're doing. The thing is, to even if you want to get on social media and you want to get part of these platforms, it's time to see these things as a means to an end. You understand what I'm saying? This is a means to an end. All right. Don't look at this as your end. Don't look at this as, oh, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be an Instagrammer. I want to be a TikToker. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do that. Use this as a vehicle to create something else, or to gather the resources, the tools, the audience that you need for something else that you're going to be creating, and something else is going to be coming at a future point in time. Gems for 2024. Okay. So the thing is, many of you are truly at a space where you're disinterested in much of what the Matrix has to offer. We spoke about this. Even when on the video, I spoke about the genius. Okay. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. It's a very good one. Many of you are at a point where you're just literally bored with the Matrix family. That's why I'm like, if you're in a stage in your life where you just don't feel motivated, or even like, you know how people are still over here talking about this is how you manifest this, you can visualize that, you can visualize a new car, a new house, you can visualize a new this. Some of you are like, I don't want to visualize none of that trash. And any of you who are manifestation masters know, like, it's not that hard to manifest anything in the material realm. You just have to put your focus and energy towards it. But so many of you are elevated beyond that point that you understand that all of these superficial things truly mean nothing. They hold no value. It's empty space. So you're at a point in your evolution where some of you are confused because you're like, why don't I have interest in these things? Why don't I have like a strong burning desire for this or burning desire for that? And it's because that stuff is already dead. And especially dead to you because you've elevated. The matrix no longer entices you. There's just not much here that you look forward to. And so the thing about this is a beautiful place for you to be, because this is going to allow you to create something from a completely different space, from a completely different environment. The reason that you don't feel motivated, the reason that you don't feel inspired is because you're looking to the wrong place for that inspiration and for that motivation. You're just simply not gonna find it in the matrix. You're beyond that. The drones and the bots, they might think that's what they want because they're not into the to the level of, self-actualization that will make them realize that all of those things are an illusion. All of those things are a facade. But when you get to a point of knowing, you can't unknow what you know. I think that it's in Ecclesiastes when it says, and as knowledge increases, sorrow increases, right? It's almost like with much knowledge there's much vexation. And the thing about it is you can't unknow what you know. That's why you ever heard that quote or that saying, that adage that says ignorance is bliss. So the thing about this is that lack of motivation, that lack of inspiration, that lack of burning desire that you've been feeling, this has actually been pointing you in a completely different direction. This has actually been subconsciously making you seek something that you haven't even realized that you've been seeking. And the thing about this is, as you continue to isolate yourself, some of you have become sick even at the end of 2023 or at the beginning of 2024, because this has been the excuse that you actually needed to isolate yourself and not feel bad about doing it. Okay. And the beautiful thing about this isolation, even some of you, there might be just people that you just might have pulled back in general. I'm not saying that you don't have people in your life. Of course, people that are consistent with you, you probably make time and space for. But many of you have just really pulled back your energy from a lot of people, places, and things. Even some of you might be fasting. Some of you might have taken breaks off of social media, television, all types of stuff, just to harness your own energy, just to be to you, just because really you're sick of it, whether you realize that consciously or subconsciously. So the beautiful thing about this is putting you in a space to discover a new land. Okay? You're getting ready to discover a completely new land, family. You're getting ready to discover a new dimension. There are going to be ideas and visions that suddenly appear to you. And this is going to appear as you focus towards the future. It's important to be present. You have to stay grounded, right? So you know how it's all this whole talk, the most popular rhetoric of this century has been, live in the present, live in the now. Yeah, it's true. You got to. You want to be balanced. However, we also know the past, the present, and the future, it's happening simultaneously. Time, space, reality is an illusion. You can bend time. You can change time. Many of you who this is for, you're living outside the realms of time. So the thing is, you can tap into any of these spaces whenever you want and still be completely present, right? What I'm trying to say is that for those of you listening to this is a time where it's going to be much more beneficial to you to look towards the future, because that's what you're bringing into existence. You're creating ahead of time. Stay present within yourself. Yes. Absolutely. Eat when you need to eat. Exercise when you need to exercise. Do the things that you need to do. Be grateful. When you're dealing with people, be present with them. When you're relaxing, be present with yourself. When you're watching a Peacock special, be present with the Peacock special. When you're chilling with your cat, rub him. Rub his neck. They love to get their neck rubbed. Rub under the chin. Feel the purr. Be present with that. When you with your dog, feel that. You see what I'm trying to say? When you're looking at your fish, be one with them. See how beautiful they look in the aquarium. So, yes, be present in those moments, but use your mind during this time to focus towards the future. Because you're going to see that as you look outside of the present bubble that is happening, that is getting ready to explode when people least expect it, you're already going to be over here creating in a completely different space. What I'm trying to say is some of you are way ahead, are going to have the ability to be way ahead. Now, you are already ahead in who you are in your spiritual nature. Your spiritual man is way ahead. Your wisdom is way ahead. Your knowledge is way ahead. The things that you understand and you're realizing about society are way ahead. So the thing about it is create for the future, because when this bubble bursts, the first place that everybody is going to run is towards what you created. Leaders lead. Leaders are on the leading edge. Leaders don't do what's already been done and what's all already oversaturated. And if you see a leader doing that, hey, do what you got to do, make ends meet. Use these things that are currently in circulation as a means to an end, not the end. Don't make being a YouTuber your end goal. Don't make being a TikToker, Instagrammer, OnlyFanner your end goal. Okay? Focus towards the future. Step outside this time space reality, and many of you are going to be able to do this. Like, you're going to see that as soon as you shift your perspective from the debauchery. Okay, all right, y'all. I'm gonna stop. All right, I know y'all get the point. And for those of y'all who feel me, for those of y'all who chosen, you know what I'm saying about this realm. Y'all know what I'm saying. It's enough. It's like, you know how much it sucks to live in a world and to live in a society where it's like the foolishness. The foolishness just don't stop. And it don't stop. It's like when? When is justice gonna rain down? You feel me? It just has been expanding. This is all that we've seen is the foolishness. We've been in a world that we're not of for so long. That gets draining after a while. So the thing that I'm telling you here is it's normal for you to feel that way. You're in this world, you're not of this trash. Be happy for that. There are people who are going to be here their entire soul cycles. There are people that are going to be trapped here indefinitely. Prison planet. Think about that. Think about the fact that you're not one of those who are trapped here. You chose to come here and you were chosen to come here for a time. But this even is not your end. So even when you start to feel wrapped up in this world, this too shall pass. And guess what? For you, it's going to be like it was just a dream that you don't have to come back to. So don't worry about what the drones are doing. Don't worry about what the bots are doing. Don't worry about those who really love the debauchery of this realm. This is all they have. Remember that. Don't ever forget that. So with that being said, it's up. Time is up, family. I'm telling you. These things have matured to a point where they're old. It's almost like, you know how they say, you have certain people that it's like they know they're going down, or the devil know he's up out of here, and it's like that's when they put up their strongest fight. That's what we're seeing with society right now. It's like it's over. They know it. Everybody know it. We all know it. Well, the drones don't know it. The bots, those who are programmed don't know it. The called people, the majority sleep. Period. Been sleep. And the thing is, don't be moved. Don't even be bothered by the drones. That's why I'm telling you, like, even with society, family, even when you see just ignorance, okay, for lack of better words, when you just see the ignorance and the evil that comes with it, you got to look at these people and realize that it's like calling Dell customer service. Haven't had Dell in years, but last time I had Dell like 15 years ago, customer service was trash. Um it's like calling Xfinity customer service and getting that automated bot on the phone. It doesn't matter what you say. It's a program, okay? It's a program. So what will happen is these people will follow new programs. Don't worry about them. Create the new. Focus towards the new. Focus towards the future. This is another thing too that is very strong in this message. There's a new form of currency that is coming on online. I'm not talking about Bitcoin, crypto, none of that trash. I'm not talking about the US dollar, none of that trash. But there's a new form of currency brewing. Okay? And remember that currency, it's energy, it's vibration. So you can tap into this without needing to know what it is, what it looks like, what it's going to be. The only thing that you need to do is make sure that you continue to sustain your value and increase your own value. And one of the ways that we do this as chosen ones is by increasing our light, by continuing to increase our vibration, by continuing to increase our focus. Don't get distracted with the present of society in its present state. Look towards the future. This is where you're going to find your most powerful source of creation. Some of you feel like, things have been moving slow. But the thing about it is you're closer than you think. Okay. Even if you feel like the tortoise and the hare and these bots have just been running circles because they're with the program family. Of course, those who abide by the program are going to get rewarded in the matrix. That's how it's set up. So that you want to be a bot too. But you can't never want to be a bot because you're actually of God. You're a light worker. You're chosen. So that's not in your nature. You just can't do it. It makes you want to throw up. Right? You can't do it. You'd rather, bypass all of the riches and all of the clout just because it's like you can't do that. That's not in your nature to do. Can't be a follower, never have, never will be. So the thing about this is you've been moving slowly but steadily. Continue to do that. Don't try to force anything. Like right now, even as the last video that I posted, this is a time where go with the flow. Because things are going to happen in the most unorthodox of ways. We're getting ready to collectively in this globe, on this earth, witness a miracle. And this is going to be a miracle on behalf of those who are chosen, a miracle on behalf of those who came to do light work, a miracle on behalf of those who have fought the good fight of faith, who stayed true in the midst of chaos, in the midst of hell, those who have not decided to bend down to the devil's kingdom. Okay? Those who have been punished, persecuted, done wrong just by the bots, and you still rise. You still remain loyal to who you are. You still remain loyal to your alignment with the Most High. You still remain loyal to the divine. You're going to see something take place to where it's almost going to be like things change overnight. It makes me think about when COVID first happened and nobody saw that coming, and it kind of like changed society till today. This is the type of energy. I'm not saying it has to be COVID or anything like that, but it's going to be something that people can't predict and are not predicting. And you are already going to have built an island because you are already future focused. You realize this is crumbling. Just like the stock market fell and has done that several times and will continue to do that in the future because that's how the stock market cycles work. Just like the housing market, we've seen that happen quite a few times. This is what's happening in the current state of affairs to the general framework of the society that we live in. You are already very established. You have to realize and see yourself also in the future as well. You got to realize that the work that you've been doing and the things that you've done, this has already put you in a position. It's not about doing one big thing one day. It's about the little things that you do every day that bears fruit. And many of you have been doing those little things every day. You've been the tortoise, not realizing that the finish line is right. If you just put your head up, it's actually right there. It's going to take you a little bit to get there, but it's in sight now. You see what I'm saying? Because we moving slow and steady. We not rushing nothing. But the thing is, you're already established. The thing is, the future fruit that you will be able to witness materially in the future and even spiritually in the future, you already embody that. The last message that I want to share today is, and this is a strong message that keeps coming up, so I'm going to say it. I don't really want to talk about this because I really could care less, honestly, about this topic. But it's funny because this is not just about me, right? So, and it's funny because the thing about this is many of you who this message is for, you probably feel the same way. So this is the topic of romance, love, partnership. Okay. I'm completely uninterested in the topic. All right. And that has no validation on what my relationship status is or isn't, because I always keep that private. Okay. It's nobody's business. With that being said, the thing is, you are you're coming, you're meeting your person this year. You're meeting the real one. Okay, not the counterfeit. If you're dealing with a counterfeit, or you have been dealing with a counterfeit, these things are going to be exposed, and whatever spell or whatever illusion has been cast, you're going to be able to clearly see through. Okay, you have somebody that is going to be coming into your life that has fruit, that has tangible things, that is able and ready to take things to the levels that they need to go. Somebody who is very mature, somebody who is equally yoked with you mentally, spiritually, and physically. This is somebody that you're going to be able to really build and create with. And this is also somebody who is creating and going to be creating outside of the matrix. Okay. This person is going to come into your life, like I said, at a time that you're just really not interested. Okay. Those of you who this is for, you're not interested in any of this. And it's not to say that you don't want to have a family or you don't want to have a person. It's just that's not something that you spend your time and your energy on these days, right? There's been times in your life where maybe you wanted it. Maybe you're like, God, where's my person? When am I going to meet? And it's like, you know what? Look, if it is what it is what it is. I'm focusing on what I'm focusing on. And many of you are going to be in the process of creating in this new space that I'm talking about. Many of you are going to be in the process of creating on this new island when this person shows up in your life, okay? And this is going to be somebody that shows up very ready and well prepared. And the thing about it is, when this connection does come in your life, it's going to be very, very passionate. You're not going to feel that boredom that you might have been feeling lately, even if you've been in relationships in certain situations and you just don't feel that fire. That fire is going to be definitely reactivated as these unions come together. And a lot of that is going to be happening this year. Complete wish fulfillment. Focus towards the future. You want a whole different type of time. This has been another episode of The Daily Guide. I didn't even know where this is going. The funny thing about it is I didn't even want to sit down and record this message because I was like, what? And then as soon as I press play, I don't know what it is about the microphone in my crown, but it's like that's when the downloads, that's when the clarity comes. Your girl's feeling better. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all hear it in my voice? Baby, COVID had me down under for a little bit, but we back, baby. It's January 10th. I think I'm going to post this one on YouTube too. If you listening on YouTube and you still ain't on patreon.com/prettybosstv, I have no words. But if you would like this daily guidance, if you would like to truly elevate on a regular basis and get outside the matrix, come join the family on patreon.com/prettybosstv. Have a great day, week, weekend, month, year, night, evening, wherever you are. Until next time, talk to y'all soon. Peace.